3 years ago, it was all around gender. Everyone was like 50-50. And that was the only thing they thought when you talked about diversity. More women. We need to get more women. That was the focus. And obviously, the murder of George Floyd was the catalyst of change. And I call it a moment of realization for a lot of organizations where they suddenly realized, we hadn't been looking at all these other different communities. We've overlooked them because we're so focused on one particular demographic, which was gender. And if I look at gender, that benefited certain kind of women. It definitely didn't benefit women that look like me, because as a Black woman, there were still barriers that I still had to face, even as a woman in business. So I think there was a whole awakening of organizations looking at this with a different kind of lens. Now we're talking around things like menopause policy. We're talking around the trans agenda. We're talking around ageism. These are things that never got talked about 3 years ago, but they're now priority for a lot of organizations. We have clients who come to us and say, we need to put a menopause policy together. We need to put a mental health policy together. Mental health was not being talked about. It wasn't seen as something that anyone could be open about a few years ago. Now it's a priority for a lot of organizations. They're shouting around the different ways that they're supporting the well-being of their staff. So, diversity has continued to evolve, and it's moved how people's understanding of it to not just being about gender or ethnicity, to all the other different areas that diversity focuses on.